We all desire to make more money, to increase our net worth, to achieve wealthy status, but often we get stuck. We don't know what actions to take. We don't know what that first step is. We don't know how to invest or where to invest our money, our time, and our resources. What if I could tell you though that there's actually a way that you can increase your personal worth by 50% and it doesn't take a lot of work? But this isn't coming from me. This is actually coming from a very well-respected billionaire that had some really great advice on how you can increase your worth by 50%, and you'll be quite surprised to know how easy it is. Let's find out who this billionaire is and how you can increase your worth by 50% right now. So chances are you've heard of this guy by the name of Warren Buffett. He's the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. He's reportedly worth over 84 billion, that's right, $1 billion. And typically when Warren speaks, people listen. When you've achieved that level of success, that level of wealth, you have some amazing experience, some amazing wisdom to share. And recently he was in the car with the CEO of a new startup, and this CEO was just asking him, what is just one simple thing that people can do to increase their worth? What are the things that you would suggest that they do? And the thing that Warren said is something that I 100% agree with, and is something that you and I can do on our own, or we can buy books, or we can listen to podcasts to work on this craft, this skill that can increase your worth by 50% or more. So the simple piece of advice that Warren offered on what he believed that you can increase your worth by 50% is this: work on improving your communication skills, both verbally and written. So just communicating. How do you communicate with your peers, to your coworkers, to your competitors, to your future clients? How do you send them emails? How do you write letters? How do you write articles? Learning communication is such a simple thing, but many of us don't put the work in to get better. Especially in this generation, we want to send text messages because that's the easy thing to do. We don't want to have these face-to-face conversations and look people in the eye and communicate with them. And this is an art and a skill that is getting lost. So if you can learn how to master communication, you can increase your worth by 50% or more if you learn how to do it right. Now, I love Warren's advice, but I'm also a big believer in action steps. What are things that you can do today to improve your communication skills or work towards improving your communication skills? So what I want to share is what are my 4 top tips and how you can increase your worth by increasing your communication skills. All right, the first thing that you can do is shut up and listen. We talk way too much. We want to talk about ourselves and how great we are and all the things about our day. And you may have some really good information to share, but communication works 2 ways. You have to be able to communicate, talk, and you have to be able to receive that information, listen. And if you're on the talking side of things where you're never listening to the person you're trying to communicate with, then that is not open communication.
Hello, Selma. Selma, my dear, how are you? Listen, shut up for a second.
A good communicator will take the time to shut their mouth and listen, or just asking the right questions and letting that person go through whatever they need to go through to get that answer. Shutting up and listening will improve your communication because people think that you care. They think that you're actually listening and you're interested in what they have to offer. To that point, I really love this quote by John Marshall that says, "To listen well is as powerful a means of communication and influence as to talk well." You've got to listen. You've got to open your ears and listen what that person has to say. That is a simple way to increase your communication skills. The second way that you can improve your communication skills is to become a better storyteller. One of my favorite parts of my evening is tucking all my kids into bed, especially my youngest, my daughter. She's 4 years old and she loves when I take the time to read her a book. Even though she has no idea what I'm reading, it's just that process of sitting down and telling a story. We all love to hear stories. When you can tell a story, that captivates the audience because they hear the main character, they hear the beginning of that story, and they want to know how it ends. They want to know how it finishes. Just like any movie you've ever seen, when you start a movie, it's so hard to not finish it because you want to know how the story ends. So if you can become a better storyteller in whatever it is that you're offering. So if you're on a sales call, being able to tell a story to that potential client so that they are engaged, so that they want to know anything and everything about that story is such a powerful tool. Don Miller, who is well known for his book and process called Story Brand, had this to say about storytelling. Everybody wants to be taken somewhere. If we don't tell people where we're taking them, then they'll engage in another brand. Mastering the art of storytelling will allow customers and people that you're trying to communicate with just be that much more engaged. Work on telling better stories. Make it fun, make it engaging. All right, the third thing that you can do to improve your communication skills is take a public speaking class. Now, if you're still in school, signing up for speech or any sort of class that requires you to get in front of a room of people and talk is an experience that many can't handle. It's so nerve-wracking. You get so much anxiety, but if you can learn to get in front of a crowd and speak with confidence, people will listen. I know several advisors I used to work with that they would sign up for Toastmasters just so they could get more comfortable speaking in front of people. In a previous video, I talked about the best class I took in college, which was a sales class. Why that was the best class? Because a part of that class, one of the major assignments was I had to give a taped sales presentation. And I've never had done anything like that before, but having to give a sales pitch and recorded was so nerve-wracking, but it made me such a better communicator because I had to learn how to talk. I had to learn how to slow down, take a deep breath, and make sure that the person I was engaged with was really there. And it was such a great experience. All right, the fourth and final thing you can do to improve your communication skills is to start a blog. Now, do you have to start a blog and work on all like the technical aspect of getting that blog launched? Absolutely not. You can start a free blog. You can start a blog like on LinkedIn. You can start writing longer blog posts on Facebook or any social media platform. But the whole point in doing this is to write something that people actually want to read. When I started my blog over 10 years ago, I thought I was a decent writer, but quickly learned that writers have a certain skill that I didn't have. And the only way that I was able to improve upon that was writing more. And also looking at other blogs that were very popular, just seeing how the format was, how did they tell their story? How do they craft just the paragraphs and the sentence structure and just all the different things that goes into writing a short or even a long form blog post. And by doing that, that helped me improve my writing skills that I didn't really think needed improved, but turns out, yeah, I was wrong. I was very wrong. And by writing all this blog content over the years, it's helped me so much better to become a much more detailed communicator and that people can actually listen and resonate with. So many people want the quick fix, the easy fix to increase their net worth, to increase their wealth. But oftentimes we overlook the simple things that we can do. And Warren, he knew it exactly. He knew exactly what people needed to do, and that was to increase their communication. What are ways that you've been able to increase your communication skills with others? Or what are some of the biggest pet peeves that you have whenever you're talking with someone, you recognize like this person, they don't know how to communicate. Like, this drives me insane. I know for me personally, it's those that are on their cell phones and they don't even make eye contact with you when they're talking with you. Like, that drives me crazy. So that's my pet peeve when it comes to communication. What is yours? Share in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, be sure to like and subscribe. This is Jeff Rose reminding you once again, it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Until next time, peace.